What if I told you that the richest man in history wasn't a tech billionaire or an oil tycoon, but an African emperor who lived over 700 years ago? Could his story change how we view wealth and history today? This is the tale of Mansa Musa, the legendary ruler of the Mali Empire, whose wealth and influence remain unparalleled in history. Imagine a kingdom so rich in gold that its abundance reshaped economies and left an indelible mark on the world. In the 14th century, the Mali Empire stood as a beacon of power, culture, and prosperity in West Africa. It wasn't just a kingdom, it was a thriving hub of trade, education, and innovation. Mansa Musa's reign elevated it to heights that astonished even the most powerful rulers of his time. In this documentary, we'll journey through Mansa Musa's extraordinary life, his rise to power, the immense wealth he wielded, and the cultural legacy he left behind. We'll also uncover the lessons his story holds for us today about wealth, legacy, and the importance of history. So, buckle up as we dive into the captivating story of Mansa Musa, the richest man in history. Mansa Musa's journey to power is as fascinating as his legendary wealth. Born in 1280 into the royal Keita dynasty, Musa was a man of vision and destiny. But his rise to the throne came under unusual circumstances. Before Musa, the Mali Empire was ruled by Abu Bakr II, a king with an insatiable curiosity for exploration. Legend has it that Abu Bakr launched a grand expedition to discover what lay beyond the Atlantic Ocean. He set sail with a fleet of ships, leaving Musa as his deputy. However, Abu Bakr and his fleet never returned, and Musa ascended the throne in 1312, becoming the 10th Mansa, or Emperor, of Mali. Under Musa's rule, the Mali Empire grew into one of the largest and wealthiest territories of its time, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the heart of the Sahara Desert. The empire encompassed modern-day Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Niger, Nigeria, and Mauritania, a vast domain rich in resources and cultural diversity. The Mali Empire thrived on its abundant natural resources, particularly gold. At its peak, Mali supplied nearly half of the world's gold, making it the epicenter of wealth and trade in the 14th century. The empire's strategic location along major trans-Saharan trade routes also allowed it to dominate commerce in salt, ivory, and other goods. But Mansa Musa was not just a ruler of a wealthy empire, he was a visionary leader. His ascent marked the beginning of a golden age for Mali, a time of prosperity, cultural enrichment, and global influence. Mansa Musa's wealth was not only immense, it was legendary, almost beyond comprehension. The foundation of his riches lay in Mali's abundant gold mines, which were among the most productive in the world. It's estimated that during Musa's reign, the Mali Empire produced nearly half of the world's gold supply. But gold was only part of the story. The empire also controlled lucrative trade routes that connected West Africa to the Mediterranean and the Middle East. These routes facilitated the exchange of gold, salt, ivory, and other valuable goods. Salt, in particular, was as valuable as gold at the time, and Mali's control over the salt trade further solidified its economic dominance. To put Mansa Musa's wealth into perspective, historians have struggled to quantify it. Some have suggested that his fortune would eclipse even the wealthiest modern billionaires. Imagine someone so rich that they could give away gold by the ton, and still remain the richest person alive. Mansa Musa's wealth wasn't just a private treasure hoarded in palaces. It flowed into the empire, elevating the quality of life for his people and funding grand projects. The Mali Empire flourished under his rule, becoming a hub of commerce, culture, and education. Musa's riches also had a profound impact beyond Mali's borders. His immense wealth caught the attention of the world, putting the Mali Empire on the map, literally. European cartographers, inspired by tales of his riches, began including Mali in their maps, often marking it with a crown or gold to signify its prosperity. In 1324, Mansa Musa embarked on a journey that would cement his name in history, a pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj. But this wasn't just any pilgrimage, it was a spectacle of unparalleled grandeur. Imagine this, a caravan stretching as far as the eye could see. Over 60,000 people accompanied Mansa Musa, including soldiers, servants, and heralds dressed in the finest silks. Hundreds of camels carried supplies, each loaded with sacks of gold. Some accounts claim that each camel carried up to 300 pounds of gold dust. As the caravan moved across the Sahara Desert and through bustling cities, it left an unforgettable impression. In Cairo, Mansa Musa's generosity became the stuff of legend. He distributed so much gold to the poor and spent so lavishly that he caused inflation. the value of gold in the region reportedly plummeted for over a decade. But Musa's journey wasn't just about wealth. Along the way, he built mosques, funded schools, and established trade connections. His interactions with scholars and rulers showcased the Mali Empire's cultural and economic might. One of the most remarkable aspects of this pilgrimage was its spiritual significance. Mansa Musa was a devout Muslim, and the Hajj was a demonstration of his faith. However, it also served as a diplomatic mission, solidifying Mali's position as a global power. By the time he returned to Mali, Mansa Musa had left an indelible mark on the world. His pilgrimage not only showcased his immense wealth but also highlighted the cultural and religious sophistication of the Mali Empire. It was a journey that would be remembered for centuries. Mansa Musa's influence didn't end with his legendary pilgrimage. His reign marked a golden age for Mali, not just in terms of wealth, but in culture, education, and architecture. One of his most lasting legacies was the development of Timbuktu as a center of learning. Under his rule, the city became a beacon of knowledge, attracting scholars, poets, and scientists from across the Muslim world. Musa didn't just hoard his wealth, he invested it in the future of his empire. He funded the construction of magnificent structures, including the famous Sankore University, which became one of the most respected educational institutions in the Islamic world. Imagine a city where libraries held thousands of manuscripts, where scholars debated philosophy, mathematics, and astronomy under the shade of grand mosques. Timbuktu wasn't just a place of learning, it was a symbol of Mali's intellectual and cultural power. Mansa Musa's patronage of the arts and sciences extended beyond architecture and education. He encouraged the creation of manuscripts, many of which are now considered invaluable records of African and Islamic history. These manuscripts, some of which still exist today, provide us with a glimpse into the advanced knowledge of Mali's scholars in fields like medicine, law, and astronomy. Through these contributions, Mansa Musa not only enriched his own empire but also shaped the broader narrative of African and Islamic history. His reign demonstrated that wealth could be used to cultivate culture, foster intellectual growth, and leave a legacy that would endure long after his death. However, no empire lasts forever. After Mansa Musa's death in 1337, the Mali Empire began to slowly decline. The wealth and prosperity that had flourished under his rule began to dissipate, and the empire faced internal struggles and external pressures. Musa's successors struggled to maintain control over the vast territory he had built. As the empire weakened, the once thriving trade routes began to shift, and Mali's wealth, once derived from its vast gold mines and strategic location, started to dwindle. Neighboring empires, like the Songhai, began to rise in power, while Mali's influence waned. One of the key factors in the decline of Mali's wealth was the loss of control over the gold trade. With the rise of new trade routes and the depletion of gold reserves, the empire's economy faltered. In addition, political instability and a series of weak rulers further weakened Mali's once mighty empire. By the 16th century, the empire that had once been the richest in the world had crumbled. Yet, despite the decline, Mansa Musa's legacy lived on. His contributions to education, culture, and architecture continued to resonate in the hearts of Malians and the broader world. It wasn't until much later, in the modern era, that Mansa Musa's story began to be rediscovered. His incredible wealth and influence, once obscured by the passage of time, have since captured the imagination of historians, scholars, and the general public alike. His story has resurfaced as a reminder of the greatness that Africa once held, and still can hold. Now, let's pause and reflect on the lessons we can learn from Mansa Musa's extraordinary life. His story is not just about wealth, it's about the power of vision, leadership, and the impact one individual can have on the world. Mansa Musa's wealth was beyond comprehension, but it wasn't just for personal gain. He used his resources to transform his empire, supporting education, culture, and infrastructure. His famous pilgrimage to Mecca wasn't just an act of religious devotion, it was a statement to the world about the power and reach of the Mali Empire. But beyond his wealth, Mansa Musa's legacy teaches us something deeper. In a world where we often equate wealth with material success, Musa's story challenges us to think about the true meaning of wealth. Is it about accumulating riches, or is it about using those resources to uplift others, to leave a legacy that shapes the future? Mansa Musa's generosity during his pilgrimage to Mecca, where he gave away gold to the poor and to cities along the way, is a powerful example of how wealth can be used for the greater good. His investments in education and culture, particularly the establishment of the Sankore University in Timbuktu, show us that true wealth lies not just in material goods, but in the cultivation of knowledge and the enrichment of society. His story also highlights the importance of preserving cultural legacies. The Mali Empire, under Mansa Musa, was a beacon of African and Islamic civilization. Today, as we face the challenges of globalization and cultural homogenization, we must remember the importance of protecting and celebrating the unique histories and legacies that make our world rich and diverse. So, what can we learn from Mansa Musa's story? What does it teach us about the relationship between wealth and power, and how can we apply these lessons to our own lives? These are questions we must ask ourselves as we navigate our own journeys. As we reach the end of this incredible journey through the life of Mansa Musa, we see that his legacy is far more than just wealth. It's a testament to the power of vision, generosity, and cultural preservation. From his rise to power in the Mali Empire to his legendary pilgrimage and lasting impact on education and architecture, Mansa Musa's story reshapes how we view not only history but also wealth and legacy. His reign was a time of unprecedented prosperity and cultural flourishing, and his influence still echoes in the world today. The riches he shared, the knowledge he fostered, and the empire he built all serve as a reminder that true greatness is measured not by how much one accumulates, but by how much one gives back and how one's legacy endures. Mansa Musa's story also encourages us to look beyond the material and focus on the intangible aspects of wealth, education, culture, and community. His life challenges us to think about the kind of legacy we want to leave behind, and the impact we can have on the world around us. If you enjoyed uncovering the incredible story of Mansa Musa with us, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. We'd love to hear your thoughts on how his story has shaped your understanding of wealth and legacy. And of course, if you want to learn more fascinating stories of history, culture, and legacy, be sure to subscribe to our channel, World Historic Tales. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.